Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Coaching Uncovered podcast. My name is Chris Berry, and I'm going to be your host for today. Joining us, we have Dr. Marci Catallo-Madruga. How are you doing today, Dr. Marci?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing great. I almost messed up on your last name. I keep wanting to say Catallo, not Catallo. So
You're
I
not
caught
the only one.
I got myself though. So anyway, before we jump into the details and kind of get into the meat and potatoes, could you just give everyone that's either listening or watching on what you help people with?
Yeah, so I help people restore their optimal health and vitality to the level that is attainable with looking at their epigenetics, their current blood work, and where they would like to go.
Okay, amazing. And what made you go down this path? Obviously, it's kind of a very specific thing, and you used a bunch of big words right there. But like, why this per se?
Yeah, so I had twin boys in 2010,
Okay,
and I started having some pretty significant health issues after they were born. And by 2014, I just felt like I was broken and no one was helping me. They just wanted to medicate me, but they wouldn't even tell me what they thought was wrong with me. And I had already known, I mean, I don't respond well to like Tylenol and Advil. So what would make people think I would respond to something heavier, right? And I finally had an appointment with a hematologist who pulled a ton of blood work and was like, look, here's the deal. These things are going on with you genetically, but I don't know what any of it means. You're right. Medication is probably not your best option. Keep looking for the answer. And so I just started trying to heal myself and figured out a way to do it and put all the pieces together and spent a lot of time and a lot of money doing that. And it shouldn't take that long. It can be easy. Like I have people turn it around now in 6 months, as opposed to it took me I started really looking for solutions starting in 2012, and it took me until 2021, you know,
9 years.
because I was doing it all on my own. There was no one to help me. So now I help people do it in under a year.
That's crazy. And obviously, I know you explained a little bit in the beginning, but what type of people are you working with? Is there a specific type of cases? Is it just anything? What are the main things that you're kind of walking your clients through?
Yeah, so most of the people that I work with have had some issues with their gut health over time. A lot of them have done everything under the sun, but they still have some chronic inflammation and joint pain. They're carrying an extra 20 pounds that they don't want, and they've done every diet, they've done the working out, they've starved themselves to death and still haven't been able to lose a pound. And also the clients that are starting to struggle with sexual intimacy, they're starting to struggle with just feeling like they can make it through the day, and they're really just surviving. Most of the time, they're between the ages of 45 and 55, but that doesn't mean that that's exactly the person that I'm like, oh, I'm only working with these people. That's just who most often finds me.
Got it. Okay. And I'm sure in this journey and process, you've learned a lot of the 9 years that you spend in studying all these things and getting this person and that. So you have a very holistic view of all of it. Uh, Over all this time of both your journey and then obviously into the transition of you obviously helping other people do it now, I'm sure there's been a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and everything. So as we just look to the coaching side of things of helping people through this, what would you say have been some of the favorite parts of owning your business? And then what would you say have been some of the biggest challenges of owning your business?
The favorite parts are when clients are starting to have success and they can see the difference and they recognize that, oh, I have an opportunity here to really like fix it, to really fully incorporate all of this into my life and fix what's going on.
Mhm.
Um, and watching them just really start to thrive. I mean, I've had 3 cases this year where women were told, I know you're only 28, 30, 31, but you're in menopause and you're not going to have a baby. And all of a sudden they're pregnant. So I mean, and getting that to turn around in as little as 6 weeks, like going from you're in menopause, you're not going to have a baby, to 6 weeks later, hi, I don't know if I'm supposed to keep doing my supplements. I'm pregnant. And having it happen that fast, it's so much fun. Um, because you're really, I mean, you're literally changing people's lives, right?
For sure.
The hard part is obviously, I don't work with people's insurance, because working with their insurance is what's gotten them to the point where they are,
Mm-hmm.
right? So getting people to understand that when they truly want to get better, they're going to have to take that financial investment into themselves. And
Mm.
that, yes, I know my program is worth it, because it's literally changing people's lives
Yeah.
every day. And changing the mindset within people before they've even had an opportunity to work with me, on the fact that they are worth the investment.
Mm.
That's a hard part.
Mm. That's powerful. And it's so sad, especially in different niches. Obviously, there's differing levels of ease per se
Yeah.
of getting people to pay for coaching, right? People that are coaches typically pay for coaching too. So it's that they're a bit more open. And then you have business people, it's like, okay, show me the bottom line. You make me this much money, of course, I'll pay you a cut, right? You know, I'm willing to pay you this. But with health, it's that weird mindset of like, oh, well, I pay for health insurance. It should just be free, or should be there's this little amount, or oh, I don't want to do this, or that's so much money. Maybe I'll push it off. But yet they don't realize, number one, they're going to go through so much less pain and suffering. And then number two, it's probably going to cost them less in the long run when they spend the time to actually just get it fixed.
Yes. And that's the hard part too, is getting them to realize, if you invest this now, this time and this money right now, 20 years from now, you will not be dealing with this.
Mm-hmm.
And 20 years from now, it'll take longer. It'll be a lot harder to fix it. And the guarantee to keep you off medication won't be there anymore.
For sure. But even think about the money. It's probably more expensive too. Your quality
Yes.
of life has decreased over all of these years.
And do you, because a lot of people that I see, they end up with some kind of autoimmune disorder, and most autoimmune disorders attack the joints, right? So are you at a point 20 years from now where now you need a joint replacement? And what's the cost of that long term, too? Not to mention the time that you lose in recovery, and the things that happen because you're not as mobile as you want to be. The extra weight gain, the muscle loss, those kinds of things, which, I mean, I'm sure you don't, it's not as easy to build muscle at 40 or 50 or 60 as it is at 20 or 30.
Mm-hmm. It's very true.
So,
It's very true. So we've talked about your story, your entry into this space, the favorite part, the challenges. One of the biggest challenges that I see with a lot of coaches as well is generating leads, right? Like, how do I get clients and everything? So how are you currently generating leads for your business?
I'm kind of a unicorn. At least that's what everyone keeps telling me. Most of my leads so far have come from TikTok, and they've been all organic. I haven't run any ads. But people keep telling me your demographic isn't on TikTok. And I'm like, well,
Mm.
it generated income last year and the year before and the year before and the year before. So you can think that my demographic's not on TikTok, but it's there.
Yeah.
Um, the one thing that people do say, and I hear this about everything, and interestingly enough, I feel the way about Facebook that other people feel about TikTok.
Mm.
Because I heavily invested in Facebook ads. I heavily invested in doing a live every day for 90 days on Facebook, in my Facebook
Wow. Yeah.
platforms. And I did all the things that people said to do and got zero return on investment.
Not a single sale.
Not a single sale.
Wow.
Yeah. And I did, so on top of doing, 90 days in a row worth of at least a 30-minute live,
Uh-huh.
um, I invested $40,000 in ads and got zero sales.
You spent 40 in ads and got zero sales?
Yes. So it was, and going to TikTok, all I'm doing is doing just informative videos, and here's some information. And if you want more information about this, you can book a call. If you want someone who can actually help you, book a call. Like that's, I mean, it's literally, a 1 to 10 minute video
Uh-huh.
of just giving information. And if you want, book a call. And what I do find is that there is a certain subset of, on I think every platform, but it may be a little bit more intense on TikTok. Um, say if you'd like more help, book a call.
Dr. Marcy, if you're still talking, for some reason I see your mouth is moving. I don't know if it's on my end. The audio cut out about like 7 seconds ago, I'd probably say.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, okay, it's back now for some reason. I don't know if it's my end or maybe the recording, but basically the part where it got broken up was you talked about you're making the value post on TikTok, just sharing information, and then you cut out for a second, then you talked about clicking below, and then I lost you from there. So if maybe from the value post on TikTok, if you could repeat, please.
Okay. I did just get a thing that said your internet's unstable, so it might be me.
Oh, okay.
So doing the value post, I'll get like 10% of the comments that are, you should be giving away this information for free. You shouldn't be charging people. You should work for free. And my response to those people is always like, you don't do your job for free. How am I supposed to support my family? Why should I work for free just because you can't figure this out on your own? Just because you don't see my job as valuable. And again, part of that is the mindset of you have to feel worth it enough to invest in your own health. But that is a little, I feel like I get that more on TikTok than, I mean, I get 1,000% more engagement on TikTok than I do on Instagram or on YouTube as well. But I feel like I get that more there than I do anywhere else. Um, and one of the other things, I will quote like a research article specifically, and I'll say the name of the article, what journal it was published in, the date it was published, and they'll say, just post a link to the article. And I'm like, yeah, and I literally gave you all of the information. Go do some research. Because I don't, even in working with my clients, I tell them, this is what you need to look at. Here it is. Go look at it and then come back and ask me questions. Because part of the problem I think we have in the health industry is we've been so reliant for the last 20 years on someone saying, this is what you need to do, instead of saying, that's not working
Why?
for me. Why
Mm-hmm.
is it not working for me? How do I critically think about my own body? And so again, it's that you owe it to me to give me everything. I shouldn't have to work at all. And it's like, no, if you actually want to get better, you're gonna have to put in the work. So if you're not willing to do the work in looking up the article, I'm not willing to work with you.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I think are annoying with generating leads.
Yeah, it is true. Well, I mean, everyone has their differing opinions, especially depending on what generation you're talking to about all mediums of generating leads, but especially when it comes to TikTok or organic or all these different things. It can definitely work. It obviously it's working and it's generating things and all of that. And people are there. Like you have to even think about it. Yeah, of course, maybe Facebook has a higher percentage of people in this age range or whatever. People that are still between even older generations still are getting TikTok. Yeah, it's much more of a younger demographic, but still. So I agree with you. If it's working, it's working. So that makes sense. So delivering value posts, doing that. How do you then invite someone to go from just seeing a value post to booking a call, or let's just say turning into a sale? Is it booking a call in between? Like what are you typically doing to turn someone in from a lead to a paying client?
So I no longer do a free call.
Mm-hmm.
I used to, but again, I was getting a lot of the tire kickers who were like, just tell me what to do to make it
Mm-hmm.
better. And I was like, I can't, because I don't know any, like in a 10-minute call, I don't know enough about you to tell you why what you're doing isn't working. I mean, I have some ideas, but I can't. And also, in that 10-minute call, you haven't signed paperwork with me that allows me to give you educational content that is specific to you in order to coach you through a health problem. So I legally, I can't. Um, and what I found was that when I was doing the free calls, I would get like a 90% show up rate for the call and like a 1% conversion rate to the consultation.
Mm.
And I just didn't find value in that. And the other thing that I find a lot of times, because I evaluate people's blood work in a very different way than most people evaluate it, is that people would send me a text message that was all of their blood work in like a text message format and say, tell me what to do. And I'm like, first of all, you just violated HIPAA on yourself.
Mm.
But second, this isn't, we don't have a legally binding contract. I'm not, you haven't given me true legal permission to look at this. And third, this is what I do for a living. If you want my opinion, you can pay for it. And they people would get mad at that and say you should be doing it for free. And I'm like, well, my entire program is on TikTok. Go binge watch my content.
Mm. Correct.
So it's there. It's in, I think it spans like my actual entire program spans 78 videos
Mm.
that are somewhere between 1 and 3 minutes long, because that's what I could post at the time. But go binge watch my old content. You'll see my whole program and you'll do it. And there are people who have done that. And I have a guy who left me a Google review that, he's like, I lost 90 pounds in 6 months and I've kept it off for a year. And he left me a Google review
Yeah.
because he's like, I can't afford your services, but I'm going to do everything you say to do. I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah.
So I don't do the free call anymore. It's literally like if they fill out the lead form on TikTok,
Mm.
I'll ask them a couple of questions and say, okay, I think you might be a good fit to get on the consultation call.
Mm.
It's $400 if you have recent blood work. If you don't have recent blood work, it's $1,000 and I order the blood work for you. I need this information before we do that. Here's the link. And they
Yeah.
either book it or they don't.
And the lead form, this is doing TikTok ads that you're doing to retarget your audience, or just straight organic?
Just straight organic. You can
Okay.
add if you have a business account, you can add a learn more button and it
Yep.
just pulls their name, phone number, and they can leave a 200 character identifier, basically.
Yeah. So someone clicks on learn more, fills in their information just from the organic content. There's some sort of automation that then says, hey, here's what it is, that then it's take do
No,
this and stuff.
because TikTok doesn't integrate with anything,
Mm.
um, I have to send those text messages individually. So it is more work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I do, um, it is also a way for me to kind of weed through people that I want to offer the consultation and people that I don't.
Yeah. Uh, Remind me, because I've ran TikTok ads in the past. I don't super actively do it. I do more kind of Facebook ads. Remind me, and we'll talk outside. Remind me. I think that there's a way you can automate it, and I can show you later. But anyway, okay. So fill out the form. You're manually reviewing, using it to figure out who I want to have the consultation with and who not. Then they either buy or they don't, and that's basically it. Is what it
Yeah.
is. Okay, cool, amazing. I like it. So if you were to kind of obviously is doing your entire coaching, just so everyone's also aware too, you've been in this journey for many, many years. You doing the coaching, remind us how long you've been doing the coaching and helping other people for. I'm sure there's like a formal and an informal per se. So
Yeah. So formally,
mm,
I have been a health coach since 2014.
mm,
I think the thing that made me feel like I can go and actually like focus on coaching people
mm,
was doing this certificate in genetics. So I did a functional medicine certificate in 2017.
mm,
And the genetics in 2021 and really in 2020 was like, okay, I have a better
mm,
handle on this now. I know I can help people faster. But I did have I've been running one of my programs, which I have updated several times and even just finished updating again last night, since 2014. And the base of that program has not changed, but the intro to that program and the outro to that program has now changed based on what I know now, versus what I knew in 2014 helping people.
Yeah. Cool.
So,
Okay. So that there, given the entire time, obviously it's been a while that you've been on this journey. If you were to go back to Dr. Marci, day one, just getting started, what one piece of advice would you give to yourself of, hey, here's this?
piece of advice. You can't you cannot work with everybody.
Mm,
Um, you can know a lot of information about a lot of different things, but you should have referral partners that you know, like, and trust. That you yourself would want to work with or have your mom, dad, sibling, spouse work with. Um, because in trying to serve everybody at the top level, people will fall through the cracks. And that will leave a bad taste in their mouth. And those people won't refer you when they could have been a great referral partner.
mm. So going and not trying just to say, oh, yeah, I can help you. And
Yeah.
instead just having these different people that you can pass them to. Hey, based on everything you shared with me, I think this person's going to be best for you.
Yeah.
How do you find those people? Is it you actively doing research and trying to find people for them? Is it just you get referred on that? It just naturally happens over time?
I think part of it is not, and this is something that a lot of people say, right? Like, part of it is not coming from a place of a scarcity mindset and going and consuming other people who are kind of in your space, consuming their content and seeing how they talk to their audience and what they're talking about and how they might do something differently.
Mm,
Um, and then starting a conversation with them and saying, hey, I'd like to do a one-to-one with you. Do you have time? Here's my calendar link. I don't want to pitch you my business. I just want to understand what you do better, because I might have clients that aren't right for me, but they are right for you. And that openness of, like, I want to form relationships with people who might be a better fit for people than I am. So, like, I have this program that I've been doing since 2014. It's to help people restore their metabolism. I do not work with vegans. I absolutely refuse. I will not do it. I have 3 people who are vegan, who live that lifestyle, who I refer all the time.
mm,
And I have people who are like, well, I can't do your program because I'm allergic to everything. And I'm like, great, you need to go work with this person who specializes in helping people fix their food allergies. Because you're right, you're not a good fit for me. I don't want to deal with your inability to eat things because you're
mm,
afraid or you don't like something or whatever. Um, or you've had a bad reaction. I want you to fix that. And then she can work with you on getting your health back.
mm,
And I have other people that you get that, like, gut feeling of, like, this is not going to go well. And we are not, nope. And if you take on those people who your gut feeling says this is not the person for me, you will have more headaches in your life than you deserve.
mm.
And you will rethink wanting to do your business.
Yeah.
Um, so you have to find a way to connect with other people who do what you do and know that referring them somebody in the long run is going to bring you back tenfold.
Yeah. It is true. That's a really powerful one because I think so many people are operating out of scarcity mindset. They're worried that, oh no, I'm not sure. I can help. Like I can help them. Why would I pass them to somebody else? Blah 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 blah. Versus, as you mentioned, if there really is another person that's better for their situation, you're not interested, pass them off. Because the cool thing is on the flip side too, you probably will have that person. I'm sure these people that you refer also refer back to you. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So That's awesome. I like it. Well, this has been awesome. I'm sure we could keep talking for hours and hours and hours. I'm even curious about all this stuff because growing up, just like typical American, oh yeah, that's good. I have cereal, I have this, I have that. And then as I started traveling, people would say, "Oh, the health over in the U.S." I'm like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "No, everything's fine. Like, yeah, I'm not eating Twinkies all day." But then your mind gets open and you come to realize all of these things. Then you start to realize, okay, well, the food companies and then the drug companies and then there's a whole, it's all this crazy stuff. So I could probably talk to you for hours about all that because I'm curious to hear your perspective. So we'll have, I'm sure, more chats in the future. But for anybody who really loved and resonated with your message, they want to improve their health. Maybe they're looking to get connected with you on TikTok. Maybe they're looking to pay you to go ahead and start working with you. What is the best way for them to get in contact with you?
The best way is probably through my website, which is
Mhm.
just drmarcycm.com. Nice and simple. Um, if they want to find me on TikTok, it's at 5280 restorative med. On Instagram, it's at dr.marcy.cm. And then I have a YouTube channel and it's at Dr. Marci Catallo-Madruga. So they can, if they want to consume more content, that's all those places. But the best way to get a hold of me is probably my website.
Okay, cool. Well, Dr. Marcy, it has been great having you here. Thank you very much. And we'll talk more soon.
Thanks, Chris.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. If you guys like this video, make sure to go ahead and like and subscribe. And if you'd also like to watch another episode to see how you can continue to grow your coaching business, go ahead and click right here.